morning, everybody. It's going to be a warm one today. It's June the 20th, 2016. It's time for another edition of Weber This Week. Hey, we're in the law enforcement. Last week, a couple of ADAs, Megan Peter, Mark Sankiewicz, were on the couch. Today, we continue our law enforcement, I guess it's a bonanza. Stu Peenstra, the chief of the town of Seneca Falls Police Department, Lieutenant Tim Snyder, good friends of mine, and they're kind enough to carve out 30 minutes of what they obviously have a very busy schedule, keeping control of what's happening in the world of keeping the victims and the crime down, and they do a great job of that. So we welcome Stu and Tim. Stu, good to see you again.
Good morning, dog.
It's good to be here, and Tim, always good to see you.
Morning. How you doing?
Doing great. I always think about this disillusion when we went through that, going from a village to a town. Stu, we've talked about this many times, and you guys coming on, I always thought there was concern about the police presence when we went to a town. You remember that? All those months and months and months. Some of the population was very concerned about coverage and ability to show up at crime scenes and monitor the streets. But I got to tell you, not because we're both friends and the fact that I'm looking for any edge of the police department, I got to tell you, I am amazed. You guys have presence everywhere. It's amazing to me that I see more police cars from Seneca Falls. It's amazing. And that's even with the dissolution. I got to say one thing. You've done a great job, and I don't see any issue. I've talked to people, and they know you were coming on today. It looks to me like you guys do your job and find ways to cover the area, and that's important. I know it was a big issue before we went to a town.
Yeah, it was a real big issue. Hot topic.
Very hot.
Divided a lot of the village and town at the time. But we just stuck with it, kept doing what we know what to do, and we worked hard. And it is a larger area.
Yep.
We have added a couple other officers to our force to try to adequately cover the town. But we've worked hard and continue to try to work hard to provide everybody the service that they deserve.
The patrol officers and the sergeants are working. They're working hard out there to make sure that they're delivering the best they can. So
even my wife Mary commented one day, we were going somewhere to get the ice cream or something. She said, "Wow, he's amazing. I've seen a couple of Seneca Falls town police cars zipping by, going here, going there, doing something." And I thought, I remember that was to be a hot issue, and it has proved to be really a non-issue. And kudos to you and your department for keeping it up. Yeah, that's what's important.
Yeah, I think everybody made the right decision. I really do. I think dissolution, now looking back at it, was probably the best thing for the community. But each community is different. As everybody goes through dissolution or talks of it, I think you really have to look at every community and really decide if it's best for that particular area or not. And I think it was ultimately the best decision, and we're moving forward and doing what we love to do.
A topic that we talked about prior to coming on air, Stu Peenstra, my special guest, along with Tim Snyder from the town of Seneca Falls Police Department. Glad to have them in. The topic that is much well known, it's probably an eyesore to you guys because you're involved in doing it, trying to control it as best you can. I don't think you could ever win the battle, and that is drugs. Every night I am I'm a guy that watches the police beat and reads about it and checks it on Finger Lakes One. Let's start off with you, Stu. Any light at the end of the tunnel, or is this rampant going to go on, the scourge of drugs, and whether it be is there such a thing as a minor drug versus a real bad drug? I talked to my friend Frank Eldridge, who you guys know very personally from the Sheriff's Department, and we've had Timmy Luce on the air, as you know, along with John Clear. They said it's a scourge of their opportunities, of what they do in and day out of their sheriff's operation. Talk a little bit about this issue. It doesn't look like it's ever going to let up.
Well, I mean, my personal view of it is that, there's been lots of forums and things about the heroin epidemic and everything. A lot of political talk on it.
Sure.
In my personal view of it, I think we need better funding to enforce it, and then you also need to get the help for people that are addicted to these drugs. So these people that all of a sudden need help, and either their insurance won't cover it, or there's no beds for them to go in for inpatient or anything like that, or today they want help, but they can't get in for 2 to 3 weeks. So then, by the time there is some place available, they've decided that, you know, they've fallen back into the drug again. And the other issue that a lot of people don't think of is all the crimes that are going on in all the different communities, including Seneca Falls, that the drug abuse affects. So like burglaries and larcenies and all those things are way up in our community because all of these drug addicts need to support their habits. They're not working, and they just, you know, start committing crimes. So it's a big you know, ripple effect in everybody's community, including ours.
And Tim, you certainly can echo the sentiments.
I do, and you know, times have changed as well for the officers on the road. You know, the safety issue for them alone, you know, dealing with some people with the heroin epidemic going on. You know, you've got the needles, you know, the potential of being poked or, you know, while searching a vehicle or somebody. It's tough, and to go along with what the chief said, not only do we have to find the funding for some help, there has to be continued help for them after they've gotten through the situation.
Well, certainly a topic that we need to get into to get your opinion on, the recent Orlando massacre or involving an individual, which is sort of sad when you look at the documentary. You've probably been reading about it. According to the gun shop owner that he visited, he went in and was talking about a different shield that the SWAT team would wear, about the pricing of such an item, and some other items which were kind of weird to the owner. And he did not sell him anything, and lo and behold, he advised the local authorities. And according to this owner, or the assistant manager, the FBI never visited the gun store. A, does that disturb you, being a police chief, and Tim being involved many, many years? Does that concern you that they didn't follow up? Because if they had, maybe, just maybe, they could have brought him in. Tim, let's start off with you.
Yeah, the whole issue with gun control. It's, you know, I do feel that the laws do need to get a little stricter on the side of the criminals.
Right.
I personally feel that, being a pistol permit holder, that
Sure.
you know, it seems that they want to penalize, you know, the good guys.
Right.
There has to be another way of looking at this to control, you know, the criminals from getting the guns. Maybe tougher, you know, penalties for them or something. The whole situation in Orlando is just sad all the way around. You've got one individual, you know, and you know, I think on the law enforcement side, how many more individuals are out there like him that are just waiting to do something?
Stu, your opinion of that?
Yeah, so New York State and other states, I know, but New York State, speaking of New York State, they have a big campaign, see something, say something type situation. Sure. And that's through the New York State Intelligence Center. And I guess I can't speak enough of making sure that if people see or certain situations that they think that's just doesn't really seem right or odd,
right,
to report it to either us or the New York State Intelligence Center, because on all these shootings, and they've done many studies on these particular shootings, no matter where they are, somebody knew something that just didn't seem right.
Right.
And you know, I myself would never want to think back and go, well, geez, I thought, you know, that didn't really seem right, but I just didn't really feel like saying anything, and now 50 people are dead.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you look at it that way and say, I'm not going to have this on my conscience, I'm going to call somebody, probably nothing, but, you know, it just seemed kind of odd to me. And you can either call us or any law enforcement agency directly to the NYSEC unit, New York State Intelligence Center, and just make the report.
Right.
And we'll go check it out.
Sure.
And if it's nothing, it's fine. But, you know, it's so important to report suspicious activity these days.
We will be putting that on our Facebook page as well, that information along.
And what's scary about this guy is the FBI had him under suspicion for like 2 years, had interviewed him twice.
Yeah.
Had wiretapped his phone, had done surveillance on him.
So it's a constant juggle with law enforcement, especially with things like that, or mental health situations where they say, you know, well, the guy, you know, the law enforcement, they knew this guy was nuts. Why didn't they do something about it? Well, you know, we might know that somebody is having mental issues, but, you know, we're always trying to juggle between, are they a harm to themselves or others, or are they just nuts, you know? So when these people go kind of off the rail type thing and do things, it affects us as well. You got to think of the law enforcement personnel that had to go into that shooting.
Yeah.
And had to do all the crime scene at that scene. What they're experiencing right now too. I mean, it's an effect on us as much as it is the rest of the world. And it's unfortunate that these law enforcement officers even had to see that scene. And then you think of the victims and their families, and it's just a horrible situation. I don't know what is going on with these people that feel the need to go out and just shoot up places. It bothers me.
What scares me, and I just turned 71, so I'm in the old age category, I guess. What scares me is, to Tim's point, I'm sure there may be, just speculating based on our history here in this country, that there were people in their cellar watching a TV screen and seeing this terrible carnage in Orlando. And if they had a motivation to do something such, they'd be smiling and say, boy, that's a good idea. Maybe I could go somewhere with a bigger crowd. And that's a scary part for me. I want to match that and beat it. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but our history dictates I'm not. And that's the weird part of this country. We have a lot of citizens in this country from all walks of life and from all, ethnic groups.
It's unfortunate that that the copycats. And,
it is,
like you said. I have to.
It's terrible.
I have to do one better than the last guy, and and a lot of times in these situations they bring up the past and compare themselves to these people and move forward on that. So.
And our presumptive nominee for the Republicans is stating over the weekend that if he was president, he would ask that all the people that were in that club to have a couple of guns strapped on them, drinking booze at 2 a.m, and be loaded up for bear. And his view was, some people would have been killed, but guess what? There would have been some people with guns on hand that were drinking alcohol at 2:30 in the morning that would have gunned him down, and lessen the number of deaths.
It's easy to Monday night quarterback everything. We're quite used to that because in this line of work, just about everything we do is Monday night quarterback. Right. Yes. So if they could have or if they would have, it's each situation is different. So.
Yeah. Well, interesting, and certainly it's dramatic and it's sad about what we do in this country. And we're getting ready to take our commercial break. Stu Peenstra, my friend, chief of police of the town of Seneca Falls, also friend Tim Snyder, lieutenant of that force, working on it. We're going to talk to these gentlemen about more. Before we take our commercial break, a couple of announcements. I want to push an event that Seneca Metals is pushing as well. It's time to register for the 5K Race for Hunger. This year's run is a sunset run with incredible music from Sarah and Joe Moll, complimentary beer from Wagner Brewing Company. Folks, that's coming up at the Seneca Metals Wetlands Preserve, Blackbrook Road in Seneca Falls, Saturday, August 27th, 6:30 o'clock in the evening. Register online, and Jimmy will have a link to that on fingerlakes1.com. So it's a good cause and to help out with the hunger issue. And I want to remind everybody, it's Stu and Tim are on the couch this morning. Big doings coming up on the Seneca Falls Initial Canal Fest. I know that Stu and Tim have certainly worked to try to set up security and make sure everything has a good time. Brings back the days of the Aqua Festival. We used to have a lot of laughs. Oh, did we have laughs way back when? That was a good time. That's coming up July 8th, 9th, and 10th. Big event, and that's going to be Friday at 5 to 11, Saturday 10 a.m. to 11, and Sunday 10 a.m. to 8. Fireworks Saturday at 10. And there's going to be music festival, duck races, rides, food, crafts, music. Should be a great time. I know Stu and Tim, you guys have worked with that committee, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll be down there Saturday between 10 and 2.
Good.
So you come down and meet the members of the department.
Yep.
We're going to be doing safe child ID cards. We're going to have a car set up. The kids can go through the car, get their picture taken. We kind of put a little uniform over them with a hat. They stick their head out the window. We take a picture, and we email that right to their parents as long as they give permission and everything. And the kids love it, and it's a great opportunity for the public to come out and get to know us a little bit better.
We'll have it'll be us, the Sheriff's Department, the New York State Police.
That's great.
All three of us will be down there, like a mini safety fair will be going on. So.
Good.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
And maybe, Stu, you can go through the archives and find a picture of the dog trying to go for a loaf of bread years ago down near the Elks when I didn't have my seatbelt on. Maybe you can get that archive.
I might have to pull that out.
I want to show it to my wife that $1.48 loaf of bread cost me $88. But lesson learned, folks. Always fasten up your seatbelt. Hey, by the way, I know Stu sits at the town board meetings, Seneca Falls Town Board's meetings next to Jimmy Spina, my good friend who's been on the show several times. Got a great book out, by the way. 2016 program and camps. I reviewed it over the weekend. Kudos to Jimmy and his team. I know Jimmy didn't do all this work to put it together. He's too involved in watching his favorite baseball and basketball and football teams. But he's a good guy, does a great job for the Seneca Falls Recreation Department. And I just want to give him out kudos. They got tours in here, all kinds of events. Really well done. So congratulations to Jimmy Spina. And I wanted to give him a little love this morning and his team that put this together, because I know, Jimmy, you probably delegated this to be done. So this is Weber This Week on a Monday the 20th. Hey, baby, if you're looking to be outside today, put a hat on, put a helmet on, put a bandana on, put an air conditioner in your ear, because it's supposed to get to 95 today. So it's a good day to maybe turn on the AC and enjoy your life. Another reminder before we go to our commercial scan, we are thrilled to, been very fortunate to get many sponsors join the show here. And I couldn't do it without the great support of many. We just added, of course, you know, Seneca Metals, we just added recently. And also we are adding a new one starting July 11th. Who else? It's going to be casino time, baby. Del Lago Resort and Casino are coming on as a Weber sponsor starting on Monday, July 11th. Couldn't be happier. We have them on our list, and we'll be showing their logo and their ads as they want to change them as we go through the program. Remember, Del Lago Resort and Casino coming soon. The casino expected to open up in February 2017. This is the show. We'll come back after we hear from our great sponsors.
Cayuga Lake National Bank. Visit Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora, a fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquor on Bridge Street in Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her team will find the right spirit for you every time. When you stop in, tell Amy the dog sent you. Steve Wadhams and Wadhams Enterprises, your local employer of choice. Proud supporter of Weber This Week and local athletics. Fill out an application at wadhams.com. The Gould Hotel welcomes you to come out and enjoy the revitalization of this historic downtown Seneca Falls landmark. Every Wednesday is Ladies' Night with special price drinks and half-priced appetizers. Learn more at thegouldhotel.com. The Omen Theater on William Street in Lyons. See what's playing this week at omentheater.com. Located off New York State Thruway Exit 41, the McGee Diner has earned their reputation as a popular family restaurant, serving country fresh home-cooked meals daily. Stop in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and check out their menu at mcgeediner.com. Seneca Metals is an award-winning company that has earned a reputation of going above and beyond to protect the environment and support their community. As an EPA inspector once said, their operation is head and shoulders above the rest. Live, laugh, and eat well. It's the Italian way. It's also the Cicino's way. Cicino's is now offering online web ordering. Fast, easy, reliable, and secure. Order now using your mobile device, computer, or tablet. Located on Main Street in Waterloo, 401 Exchange Street in Geneva. Place your order today at Cicinos.com. The Seneca Falls Country Club. Awesome 18-hole layout. Open to the public and a 12-month payment plan for members. Come try to par the par 4 16, the toughest hole in Central New York. Check out SenecaFallsCountryClub.com. And the Newark Pilots of the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, a minor league team with a major league ballpark. Season ticket packages available at NewarkPilots.com. And the Wilson Press in Seneca Falls. My good pal Rich Rickey and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Visit them online at wpress.com. Rich Rickey and Wilson Press, a fine sponsor of Weber This Week.
Welcome back, everybody. It's a dog on a hot Monday, the 20th of June. Hope you're enjoying your Monday. Hope you're enjoying our show. Stu Peenstra and Tim, our buddy Tim Snyder from the Seneca, the town of Seneca Falls Police Department. Hey, before we get back to these fine gentlemen, a couple of sports notes. The Cavs, and I know Stu said his son's jumping up and down with his Cleveland Cavaliers shirt on. My buddy Dave Barnick, Dave, suck it up, buddy. He's not a big Cleveland fan. He doesn't like LeBron. And Dave, you got to be having trouble eating that cereal this morning, buddy.
Don't be a hater.
I know. I said pound for pound, I'm not sure there's a better specimen in the game of basketball than LeBron. He goes to Miami, wins a championship. He goes to Cleveland. Boy, does Cleveland need something to brag about. You know, a lot of my friends are Cleveland Browns fans. You had to say more, but you got
52 years. 52 years since the last championship.
Right. So give credit where credit is due. I never thought in my wildest dreams I thought the Las Vegas line was a line that I probably would have bet on if I was in Las Vegas. The line was 5 points, favored Golden State. They lose by 4. But hey, give credit where credit is due. And for you golfing fans, I know Jimmy has probably got a comment to make. This Dustin Johnson situation yesterday, the U.S. Open. I mean, here's a guy that gets nailed a couple of years ago when he grounded his club in a trap because he didn't think it was a sand trap. He's got more skill sets than anyone I've ever seen hit a golf ball. Nice young man. And here he is, gets DQ'd from that. And then last year at Chambers Bay, he 3-putts from 12 feet down the hill, misses a 4-footer coming back, gets, not going to win the Open there. Jordan Spieth wins it. Tee to green, he was playing phenomenal, hitting the driver way out there. His wedge game, Jimmy, was a little off, I thought, from 100 yards, 120 yards. He wasn't getting it close enough in the minds of the great golf analysts that I was watching. But what an outstanding individual. And then yesterday on the 5th hole, I know Jimmy's got a comment. He gets over a putt, about a 2.5-footer for par, and he tends to take practice putts right next to the ball. Takes a couple easy ones like this, then he gets over the ball. And when he got over the ball, notice one thing. He did not ground his putter. He kept it above the ground. And all of a sudden, boom, the ball came backwards like 1/1000th of a millimeter, I guess. And boom, the official comes in. No, he goes and says, hey, my ball moved back, calls the official over. Official reviews it, looks at it, says, played as is, no penalty. All of a sudden, I'm running around at my daughter's house. Yesterday, they had a cookout for Father's Day up at Samantha and Izzy's. And lo and behold, I'm hearing they're going to talk about it. The committee of the USGA, the guys with the white shirts, decide to take a look at the film. And, Jimmy, you could pick it up from there. They determine that it's a propensity of evidence that there could be an issue.
They said that Dustin Johnson caused the ball to move.
Yep.
And that's a 1-stroke penalty,
Yep.
And normally it would be another stroke penalty because he didn't remove
Right.
it back, but they had a rules official that told him that he was fine to go. So that's the problem. What other sport does a ref come out and make a ruling, and then you come back later in the game and say, oh, wait a second,
Yep.
we were wrong about that.
Unbelievable.
So it was dumb. It ruined the
Terrible. It did.
the whole tournament, honestly, because you don't know where everybody stands going down the stretch.
It was terrible.
And then Fox's coverage of the whole situation was just awful.
Oh.
But I think the rule's dumb.
Yeah.
If you're going to make the greens faster than they've ever been on a course that's as undulating as that, then that rule really can't apply.
I agree.
So
I thought it was a cheap
I'm glad
shot.
he won by more than one, so it
do
didn't
I
matter.
do.
But
And the Golf Channel folks last night grilled the two guys in the white shirts, USGA officials, and they said it's preponderance of evidence. If it's 51%, Tim and Stu, they go with a one-shot penalty. I said, it makes no sense. You take the guy's word. He's a great guy, and the greens are like sloped like this. I thought it was a horrible move. And it's back on Fox. I think the USGA, a lot of people think they're a wonderful organization. I think they've lost their minds. First off, they decided to take the coverage from NBC Sports, Johnny Miller, Dan Hicks, who covered USGA for years, and in my mind did a wonderful job covering the U.S. Open. They sold it because it was a money grab. Fox came up with a bigger check, and they got a 10-year agreement now to cover USGA events, which is sad because Joe Buck is a great announcer. He does a phenomenal job, in my opinion, on football and baseball, but he doesn't know a golf ball from a hockey stick. He just doesn't. And he's got Curtis Strange, who, believe it or not, should go back to Virginia. I mean, it was just pitiful coverage. Commercials were terribly long. It just broke up the monotony of me trying to watch it. So those are our shots for the day in front of 2 police officers, so that's good, and we want to make sure that you all knew it.
Well, Jimmy asked what other sport, Dog.
Does that.
I guess I could revert back to football. You know, Jimmy knows I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan.
There you go.
I still think Des caught it with the 3 steps. So, we can go back there. So.
Listen, Stu, recently, we're running out of time, but recently you were recognized, the department recognized by Mr. McKevney, the superintendent of schools here in Seneca Falls, regarding the resource officer. Talk a little bit about that. That was quite a nice thing.
Yeah, so it was actually one of my goals becoming in as chief is to reenact that. We had Chuck Laffler, everybody knows him throughout the community, as a DARE officer in our school. Going through my career, working with the department and Chuck Laffler, I saw the connection between the community, the school, and the police department all kind of combined into one. And, through difficult times and everything, the village decided not to continue that DARE program. It removed Chuck out of the school, and slowly but surely, nobody had that connection with our department. Coming in as chief, I recognized that and was trying to come up with ideas of how to do that. With speaking with Superintendent McKevney, we both noticed that was something that we thought maybe we could try to do. We worked on it for quite a long time before bringing it to each committee. Right. We formed a committee, worked through all the issues, and then did interviews and everything, and chose Officer Chris Denny for this position. And the connection already, I thought that this might take a couple of years to really kind of get working in. The kids have taken it on, the community, the parents. It's just been a win for the school district, for the police department, and for the community as a whole. It's just a missing link, really, and it's really getting us connected back tighter into the community. And it's been great. Now Chris is also certified in DARE.
That's great. So
he's teaching in the school. The big issue with DARE is they say, a DARE officer goes in and teaches DARE once while they're in, third or fourth grade or fifth. Yeah. And then they're done. Well, here Chris is in the school all year round.
That's good.
So he's teaching DARE, and then he's reinforcing it throughout the year.
Contacts.
And he, Officer Dunny's just a great role model.
Great.
And I can't say enough about the cooperation with the school district and all the principals and superintendent. It's just been awesome.
That's great. Well, guys, as we depart ourselves, in fact, we're down to 2 minutes to go before 10 a.m. I got to get Tim and you to speak a little bit about the upcoming celebrations. We talk about the Canal Fest, 4th of July, lots of picnics, lots of parties, lots of things going on in the area. And Tim, why don't you start off about just advising our viewers to be careful and be smart.
Well, with the holidays coming up, the drinking and driving is one of the biggest things that we can push on everybody to either have a designated driver or use one of the cab services.
Right.
The cab services around here have been great. They're out there. It's not that expensive to call for a cab. We prefer to see you walking and maybe pick you up and give you a ride home if we see you walking the road or something. Then to have to pull you over and arrest you.
And Stu, you would echo those sentiments. I know everybody likes to have a joyous time, but you got to watch your alcohol. I'm sure you guys will have some sort of a checkpoint coming up soon. I would suspect the holidays are arriving.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. I mean, go out, have a good time. Who doesn't like having a good time? But just to be smart about it, and use a cab. They're real cheap, real reasonable, and you get home safe.
Right.
And you don't have to worry about things or harming anybody else. A lot of activities coming up in the town over the summer, and I'm excited about it. I love seeing the town busy. I love seeing everybody out. I love working those events, and it's exciting.
And we'll continue to have events and details and things like that posted on our webpage and on Facebook as well. So
that's great. And like you say, don't be stupid, Cupid. If you have a few drinks and you're having a good time, call it DD.
Don't ruin it.
And a lot of the bars, believe it or not, give free cab services. A lot of them are doing that now.
Yeah, New York State also has the app, the Get a Ride app.
Right.
That's through Stop DWI, statewide Stop DWI.
Right.
No matter where you are,
right.
You can push this app, and it gives you a list of cab services.
That's
no
nice.
matter if you're in Seneca Falls or,
right.
or California.
Wow.
So it works really well.
Well, guys, I know you're busy. Thank you for spending 30 minutes with us. We'll have you come back in a few months, give us some more updates. Thanks, Stu.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
All right, guys, enjoy your 4th of July if I don't see you. And hopefully I won't see you coming down to get a loaf of bread without a seatbelt on. All right, folks. Say, don't forget,
if you
folks.
do, we'll be there.
I know you will. And that's the scary part of it. Boy, we could do a special show on that one. By the way, no, I always... move that belt on now. Don't forget, folks, next week, God is taking more rights and he's begging for a left. Kyle Black, of the head of the Seneca Metals operation, along with Mark Benjamin, will be gracing us on the couch, and a lot to talk about next week, so hopefully you'll join us for that. Then we're off on the 4th of July, and then on July 11th, we have a special show, The Faces of OTB. We try to bring everybody into this show. Angie DeMarco and... the young lady, Shannon Avon calling. They are the ones that you go and place bets at OTB, and they've been doing it for a long, long time. Thought it'd be kind of a neat to check out the Faces of OTB. They'll be here on July 11th, and we're working on a whole bunch of more guests. We'll look forward to letting you know as soon as we get them confirmed. For Stu Peenstra and Tim Snyder and Jimmy Senecrope, the dog, saying have a great week, and folks, be careful today. It's going to be a scorcher. Take care, everybody.
One time.